Hey fam, Shannon speaking.
Shh, Shannon.
Look at these two photos. This is me at home and this is me when I go out. Which one do you prefer? There's quite a high chance that you have chosen the second photo. And the only difference between those two is actually the hairstyle. The lighting, the camera proximity, the makeup, the facial expression, the posture, the person, all of those things are the same on both pictures. But look at how much of a difference to the way a face is perceived a hairstyle creates. The nose appears to be smaller, eyes seem to attract more attention, and in general, the face looks more harmonious. And I swear, I didn't edit any of those two photos. So today, I will help you identify a hairstyle that will fit your face the best, will help to hide your imperfections and highlight facial features that you like. If you watched dozens of videos and you still don't understand what face shape you have and why nothing looks good on you, this video is for you. Let's dive into that.
Shannon.
YouTube is full of videos that give you advice concerning the hairstyles based on the standard system of face type classification. It never helped me and I truly struggled to identify what shape I have. According to that system, I am an oval. And if you are one, any hairstyle is supposed to look good on you. I have studied tons of information related to hairstyles and face shapes, and the Korean methodology of facial harmonization is the only one that seemed to help me, which categorizes faces into ovals, hexagons, peanuts, rhombuses, and hearts. Let's begin by identifying your face shape. So put your hair in a very tight ponytail at the back. Don't put it at the top of your head, put it at the back so that everything lays down smooth and nicely and you can see your head shape as well as your face shape. Also get rid of the fringes and any baby hair that you have on your face. Okay, now that this stage is over, take your phone and take a selfie. It's important, looking in the mirror doesn't do the job. Once you've done that, let's mark a couple of reference points, okay? So we put 1 point at the top of your forehead, right in the middle. Then you have 2 reference dots right here on your hairline, a little bit further away. And then you put 2 dots on your cheekbones. Then 2 dots on your jawline, the one that stick out here. At the angle, and then 1 dot on the chin, right in the middle. Once you've done that, connect all the dots going around your face shape. When choosing your face shape, you need to look at those features that stick out the most. Mostly you want to pay attention to your cheekbones, your jaw, and your chin. So identify what looks the most prominent on your face. This will help you to understand your face shape better. If nothing sticks out, congrats, you are an oval. And this is the easiest shape to have. Okay, let's get started with face shapes. You have an oval face shape if you have no sharp angles. Everything is smooth, nice, and roundish, almost egg-like. Roundish hairline coming down to your cheekbones, which are slightly wider. Jawline starts to decrease and it all comes down to a nice, not very angular chin. And as I mentioned before, nothing sticks out too much, even if you watch from the sides. The cheekbones tend to be quite flat. Examples of celebrities who have oval faces are Bella Poarch, Megan Fox, Sang Hyuk-kyo, Beyonce, and Rihanna. Peanuts. You're a peanut if you have a prominent jaw and cheekbones, whilst in between the two, you have a dip. Examples of celebrities are Angelina Jolie, Rosie Huntington, and Chong Hyun. From the front, this creates a peanut shape, hence the name. Hexagons, similar to peanuts, but you have no dip between the cheekbone and the jaw, and there is like a straight line that connects the two. And when you look from the side, the cheekbones are rather flat, whilst in peanuts, it's projected outwards a lot more. So celebrities who have hexagon face shapes are Keira Knightley, Rachel McAdams, Nicki Minaj, Kylie Jenner, Amber Heard. If we compare a hexagon and a peanut, they look very similar if they face us. However, if we turn them to the side, we will see that hexagons are quite flat and the cheekbone and the jaw are connected with a line that looks more or less straight. The cheekbones do not stick out a lot, whilst cheekbones of peanuts look more curvy on the side and it looks more like a wave. Rhombuses. You have a pointy chin, and the widest part of your face is your cheekbones. And as we move to the top of your forehead, it seems to narrow down. Examples of rhombuses are Emma Watson, Han So-hee, Halle Berry, Kim Jung-ha. And the final face shape is heart. Hearts are very similar to rhombuses. They also have a pointy chin, but the jaw and the forehead are wider than those of a rhombus. Examples of hearts are Jennifer Love Hewitt, Chloe Moretz, and Jessica Alba. Compare a heart to a rhombus. See how Halle Berry's forehead narrows down as we move up the face and kinda come up to an angle at the top, whilst Jessica Alba's forehead width is around the same level as her cheekbones, and it's more round or heart-like. Okay, now that we know the face shapes, and if you're still unsure, I would like to say that there are also shapes in the middle. If you can't choose one precise face shape, you may have a hybrid one. For example, Ariana Grande is between an oval and a rhombus. One hairstyle can make it appear more angular, whilst another one instead make it look softer, like here. Ariana Grande has very high contrast between her skin and her straight hair, which also lay very close to her face. This creates a very geometrical effect, and her face appears to look more like a rhombus. Whilst on another photo, there is less color contrast and the hair lays in waves, which decreases geometry and makes her face appear softer. So you need to choose what face shape you would want to emphasize. But generally, we want to avoid sharpness and angularity, but you may have your personal preferences. Okay, before we move on to recommendations, I want to bring up two important things for facial harmony. Firstly, one very important remark that no one mentions whilst talking about face shapes and hairstyles is low cranial top. For your face to look more harmonious, you need to have enough volume at the top of your head. So for example, if you circle my head shape carefully, you will notice that my face looks like an oval. As I mentioned before, if you have an oval face shape, any hairstyle is supposed to fit you. But a ponytail doesn't work for me. That is because the distance between the hairline and the top of my head, also referred to as a cranial top, is very small. And once I add more volume at the top, it immediately becomes more harmonious. Also, notice how on the original photo, the middle of my head is around this level, the mid part of my nose. And when I make my cranial top higher, the middle goes up too. And now, when you look at my face, the first thing that draws attention is my eyes. And my nose appears smaller. Pure magic of a hairstyle. So a low cranial top is something you need to correct first and foremost before choosing a haircut or a hairstyle. If you have a high cranial top, lucky you, you will always look like you have a lot of volume no matter how flat your hair lays. I'm jealous. Okay, the second thing I want to mention is not every single one of us is blessed with perfect symmetry in our faces. If your face is not entirely symmetrical like mine, you need to take into account recommendations that I will give later about those face shapes and apply them accordingly to each side of your face. Moreover, you could compensate those by distracting from them, but we will talk about that later. Now let's move on to haircuts and hairstyles. Let's start with the top of our faces, our foreheads. Wispy bangs are thin, see-through, straight bangs that suit all face shapes in general. But one remark, it visually decreases the length of your face, like all bangs do. So if your face is not very elongated, this may not be an option for you. Plus, it adds a baby vibe, and if it's not what you're looking for, probably stay away from it. Blunt bangs. Those are thick, straight bangs that end on the eyebrow level. They help drag attention to your eyes, plus might help the low cranial top problem. However, if your cheekbones are very prominent and stick out, this will create extra shadows on top of them, which can make you look tired and look like you have dark circles underneath your eyes. So it won't suit face shapes with prominent cheekbones, such as rhombuses, hearts, and peanuts. Believe me when I say that, I have prominent cheekbones and I used to have blunt bangs, and you can clearly see those shadows on this picture. Ovals look good with blonde bangs. For example, Lisa. Look at how you're drawn to her eyes as a result of this thick contrasting line above them. So if your eyes is something you want to drag attention to, blonde bangs would do the job. With hexagons, it's not that crystal clear. For example, look at how thick bangs combined with long hair that lays in both sides of the face makes Keira Knightley's jaw appear more angular. Sharpness is generally what we want to hide when choosing a hairstyle, as I mentioned before, unless it's your personal stylistic choice. And now look at her with a similar fringe, but with all of her long hair at the back and a few curls on the sides. This gives her a softer appeal, and the waves add some lightness to her look, and the bangs distract from the sharp jawline. So I personally prefer the second photo. Okay, so to sum that up, ovals, if you want thick bangs, go for it. Rhombuses, hearts and peanuts, sorry girls, not for you. And hexagons, cut them if you plan to wear a ponytail. Elongated Korean bangs that frame the face on both sides. Okay, so the problem with this type of bangs is that they create shadows on top and underneath your cheekbones, like that. So to avoid this problem, they need to be curled in the way that they frame the face, and you would style them in a way that they don't block your eyes too much. Rhombuses and hexagons have narrow foreheads, so generally not something to go for, because any side bangs make the forehead appear narrower. The rest of the shapes are fine, but if you have a narrow face in general, this distance is a lot shorter than this one, you want to avoid having too much hair on the sides covering even more space of your face. Also important to say here, if you have facial asymmetries, you can part your bangs in the way that you have less hair on the side that you like more. If you don't have a preference, but you can still see asymmetries, I would recommend to have more hair on the oval side, because of those extra shadows this type of fringe creates, and because ovals are the least problematic shape and you don't need to correct it. This worked for me in the past too, when I started to grow my bangs. Or you can simply have bangs on one side and you can tuck them behind your ear on another. This helps to distract attention from facial asymmetries. Let's talk about short side bangs. They do suit everyone as well, but first and foremost I would recommend them to people who have long faces and to those whose foreheads drag too much attention. For example, if you look at Angelina Jolie, her proportions are perfect. Her forehead length, her nose length, and the bottom of her face all have 1:1 ratio. However, her forehead still attracts a lot of attention. That is because if you circle her entire head and not just her face and try to find the middle of it, it will be around her forehead area. So when you add some side bangs, it will immediately put the focus lower on her eyes. For example, like she had in a movie The Tourist. I absolutely love her with this hairstyle. She looks so feminine, so elegant, and I personally find it one of the best styling options for her. Now, what if you decide to clear completely your forehead? Who will it suit best? The shapes that have small foreheads, like rhombuses and hexagons. But obviously, don't forget about correcting low cranial top first. The rest of the shapes can clear your forehead too, but for hearts and peanuts, it would look better if you don't pull all your hair to the back, because these shapes tend to have big foreheads, so it's better to keep it on the sides or have some bangs from the ones that I mentioned before. For example, an actress Jennifer Love Hewitt is a hot. Look at her with her hair pulled back, with her hair on the sides, and on the sides with side bangs. Which one do you prefer? Personally, I like the third hairstyle the most. Although I would cut the fringe a little shorter in the middle or part it a little bit more to the middle to clear up some of the space for eyes, because that's not very comfortable to look through. Ovals. You can do whatever you want, everything will look good on you, but don't forget low cranial top. Now let's move on to the length. Two important rules for all face shapes to take into account before choosing your hair length. The first rule is to avoid further accentuating the sharpness of facial features that stick out the most. How to do so, I will explain in this section for each face individually. The second rule is to pay attention to the length of your face. If your face itself is quite short and you decided to have blonde bangs too, don't wear a bob that ends around your jaw or neck area, as this will shorten your face even more. Look at how bangs and short hair make Jennifer Goodwin appear like she has even a shorter face and extra weight. So if you have a short face, it's either a bob or bangs, not the two together. If you choose bangs, you can either cut your hair very short, just like that case with Jennifer Goodwin, or let them grow longer below your shoulders area. This will keep your facial proportions harmonious. Now let's move on to individual recommendations. Ovals, you can have any hair length, but pay attention to face length, and an example with Jennifer Goodwin because she is an oval. Hats, here the facial feature that stands out the most is a pointy chin, so you would want to avoid cutting your hair at this level. You would generally want to have it longer than your chin. Hexagons and Peanuts. These face shapes tend to have wide jaws, so you don't end your hair there. We will talk about hacks you can use to have similar length and avoid widening visually this part later in the video. Rhombuses are good. The widest part of your faces are cheekbones, so you have plenty of options concerning length. Just don't add extra width on the level of your cheekbones, which is quite a rare haircut choice anyways, so don't go insane and you'll be fine. Straight or wavy hair. Wavy hair suits everyone. It softens all angular features that you may have and also blurs the line of the cut. The use of that I will explain later when we will talk about straight hair. However, as always, there are a couple of buts. BUTS. The first one concerns the width of your face. If your face is narrow, you would want to open it up more, which could be achieved in two ways. The first one, you curl your hair outwards. This opens your face and it appears wider. The second way, you part your head asymmetrically and tuck one of the sides or both behind your ears. This way, more of your face will show and once again make it look wider. The second consideration concerns volume and specifically areas where you want to add it to. Generally, we want to add hair where we lack volume and get rid of it around facial features that stick out the most. So, for example, for a hat, we would want to fill in the space between the jaw and the chin. Look at how beautifully a stylist implemented it with Reese Witherspoon. The curls become closer as we go down to her jaw, which decreases the volume of the jawline too, and then the curls get further away as we go down to the chin level. This fills in the missing volume between the jaw and the chin and harmonizes the look. Finally, the longer your hair is and the straighter it is naturally, the harder it will be to keep the curls throughout the day. Because the more weight you have, the more gravity will pull it to the ground, and if your hair itself is meant to be straight, there's nothing supporting this construction and it will very soon go back to where it naturally is supposed to be. So if you want to keep the length and curl them, a solution to that can be to have a cascade hairstyle. This is when you have hair layers and you have less and less of them as we go down. However, this will not work for rhombuses and hats, as we generally want to have more volume at the bottom, as we discussed before. Also, this won't suit girls who have a very thin hair in general. You need to have some hair thickness to begin with for a cascade hairstyle to look good on you. Hexagons and Peanuts need to decrease the volume around the jawline area. Just compare the same picture of Angelina Jolie with volume around her jaw and without it. The difference is drastic. That is almost magical how much of a change a hairstyle can make to the way our facial features look. Rhombuses would need to add volume at the top of your head, on the sides, and underneath your cheekbones. With the help of Photoshop magic power, let's look at the difference it creates. Once again, immense. Ovals, you have nothing to compensate. Don't bore your head with this nonsense. Okay, now let's move on to straight hair. Straight hair on the sides creates shadows on your cheekbones if you have them sticking out. So, rhombuses, hats, and peanuts generally need to consider other hairstyles. For example, look at Amanda Seyfried when she has long straight hair parted in the middle. She has clear shadows underneath her eyes, which make her look tired. She's a hot, by the way, but it equally applies to rhombuses and peanuts, and all shapes in the middle that have prominent cheekbones. If you want to wear straight hair, the best solution would be to create an asymmetrical hairstyle. For example, compare the first photo to the one where she tucks one part behind her ear. Now she has shadows only on one side, and our brain understands that this is just a shadow, and she immediately looks so much fresher. So, Rhombuses, hearts, and peanuts, don't wear straight hair laying around your face and parted in the middle. Ovals look good with straight hair, but you need to pay attention to the width of your face again. So, if your face is narrow, you would want to also part your hair and tuck them on one side or both sides behind your ears. Hexagons and peanuts, you can wear a straight hair, but avoid straight bobs that end on the jawline area, as I mentioned before, because this accentuates the angles and the sharpness of your jaw. Look at Coco Rocha with a straight bob and blonde bangs. There's too much geometry. It creates this high fashion sharp look and gives this strict and mature vibe. If it's something you're into, it also requires being very skinny and having no fat around cheeks. But look at her with a similar bob, but now the hair is curled and her look is so much lighter, rounder and softer. Moreover, the line across the jaw is now blurred, which also helps to decrease overall sharpness of a face. So if it's the length you want, go for a wavy hair instead. Don't wear a straight bob that ends around your jawline. You can also go for an angled bob instead, where the longest part of hair lay around your jaw and cover it a little bit, and then it becomes shorter and shorter as you go to the back of your head. A curly bob would also soften sharpness of a hexagon's jawline. Finally, you can also have a longer bob that is on the neck level or simply long hair. Okay, I've covered some of the general principles. I hope now you have a better understanding of what you need to do with your hair to harmonize your face. I think if this video gains enough of views and comments, I will post another one where I will do some case shows. I will take celebrities with all of the hair at the back and clear foreheads and show how I would style their hair. Or I might do some of your faces, I don't know, if I make a link or something and you can send your photos and I will try to do something with that instead. Okay, I think this exercise is going to be very handy because we don't always fit one precise face shape, so it will be a useful visual exercise to understand the topic better. Anyway, thank you so much for watching till the end. That was a lot of information. Your head must have blown up by this moment. So go on and watch some Netflix. Rest well. Be rational, be healthy, value yourself, and know that I love you.